Jay Carney, the White House spokesman, stepped down today, sort of out of nowhere, and we've got some video of the president.
In April, Jay came to me in the Oval Office and said he was thinking about moving on, and I was not thrilled, to say the least. But Jay's had to wrestle with this decision for quite some time. He has been on my team since day one. It has obviously placed a strain on Claire, his wife, and his two wonderful kids, Hugo and Della. Della's Little League team, by the way, I had a chance to see the other day, and she's a fine pitcher, but he wasn't seeing enough of the games. He comes to this place with a reporter's perspective. That's why, believe it or not, I actually think he will miss hanging out with all of you, including the guys in the front row.
He comes to this place with a reporter's perspective. Didn't bring a lot of transparency to the administration, I don't think, at least.
That's not his job.
To bring transparency? Well, his job is to not bring transparency.
To not bring transparency. I mean, it's not, that's the title.
Right, but when they always say, well, he was a reporter, as if, well, he's going to still act on the same principles.
Right. Everybody sort of had, they thought good things when Jay Carney got there. Oh, he's going to be on our team. But no, he works for the president. And it doesn't matter if Ed Henry said Della pitched a good game. At the end of the day, the president said Della pitched a good game. That's all that matters.
Okay, so I want to get to that, sort of what the heart of being the press secretary is. But is it odd that this happened today? Because was anyone talking about this? Did I
tweeted
totally
that this was like Farrah dying the day Michael Jackson died.
Exactly.
That was smart, wasn't it?
Yeah, it still hurts.
She did die that same day.
Still hurts. She lost her glory.
She lost her glory.
Yeah.
But
if I die the same day some other unknown comedian dies, I'll be so pissed off.
I promise that I'll make sure that they talk about you.
I just got on somebody put me on this famousbirthdays.com, and I looked at the comedians. You're ranked like 3 higher than me.
There.
Just FYI.
Should be much
So
higher.
if you guys both die on the same day, it's going to be tough for
that would be fucked up. That would be. Well, I'm a little younger, so we'll see. Where was I going with that?
No, you were talking about the press secretary.
Was anyone thinking that this was going to happen? I hadn't heard anything about this. Had you heard rumblings?
No, I hadn't, but it always happens. Like, it's a job that burns everybody out. There's never been a press secretary. I mean, I can't think of one that has lasted the entirety of an administration, even a 4-year administration. Yeah. And so they burn out, and Josh Earnest has been there for a long time. And, and he's now the guy who's going to be the press secretary. We're all going to know who he is, and he's going to do the same exact thing that Jay Carney.
How many days till Jay Carney gets a job at MSNBC?
Who knows?
I think he's
right.
I think he's going to not take a job. He's going to write a book, and then he'll get a job. I think he's going to just take the summer off. It's a good timing to go out now.
Yeah. I think CNN will snap him up.
I mean, listen, he may want to, but he's going to want to write a book. He is a writer. He was a Time reporter. He was not a TV guy per se. He was on TV and he did that punditry stuff. But I think he really likes writing.
But don't you think the book that we'll really want to read will be the one that comes out in 2017?
For sure, like the way we want to read Scott McClellan's book, after the administration.
Why are they allowed to do that?
And
I think that every time one of these books comes out, why are these guys who are privy to such private information and hold these people in such close confidence and all that, why are they allowed to write these books? Or why, it just seems like they're all in on the fix when they write these books.
I mean, the Koch brothers are able to get non-disclosures from their employee. Why can't the President of the United States get that? I don't know. That is a good question.
Well, because it is about openness and transparency. I mean, there are some
except
things,
when they're doing
Except when they're doing it, but that's their job to make sure it's not trans. I mean, to obfuscate and to delay and to... It's why they don't send the president out there, because they need somebody really good at making sure he doesn't answer the questions that they want answered. And that's what makes good White House reporters, too, is are the ones that can break down. Whatever you think of Jake Tapper right now, he was very good in the room at getting people to break down, getting the press secretary, forget the president, getting the press secretaries to break down and answer questions that a lot of the other reporters aren't able to get them to do. But
really?
I think,
Jake Tapper?
That's what I'm saying. Whatever you think of me, he was good in the room. He was very good in the room. And there are others, too. I mean, Helen Thomas, notable for it. Sarah McClendon, notable for it. CBS, Bill Plant, very good at it. There are other people that are good at it, but I mean,
Sam Donaldson.
Sam Donaldson was good at it too, but he became bigger than than the story. But he was good at it. I mean, he would pester and he would be on. In those days, he would make you uncomfortable.
And here's a difference between those days and today. So every time the White House would call Roone Arledge to complain about Sam Donaldson, he would get a raise. Sam Donaldson
would get a raise. Yeah,
Right.
And now it's completely
And
the
that-
opposite. They get fired. Hey, Glenn Beck's going to say something about you. I got to fire you.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, it's a good point. But other presidents have been much more difficult and much easier. Sam Donaldson had Ronald Reagan, who was the toughest of all of them. I mean, they would start the rotors on the on the helicopter, so he would say that he couldn't hear.
Yeah.
So it's he.
So you think Jay Carney somehow has been more transparent than some of these guys?
I don't think he's been any more transparent. I think he's been a pain to deal with and to watch, and I think a disappointment because everybody thought, and we were all fools for thinking, that this Time reporter is going to come and he's going to be that, but he's not. He works for the president.
Why would
Right.
they hire someone who's going to do anything but do what he did?
Exactly.
They would not.
Right.
They would, and if he didn't, they'd get rid of him.
Right. That's
So should
exactly
we
right.
never have faith in the
No.
press secretary? I mean, that's
No,
I don't know
but-
why I always, every time there's a new one, I kind of think, oh, this guy will do it.
Well,
Or,
listen,
or
I
does
mean-
this really fall just on Obama? He did exactly what Obama,
It's exactly-
which is exactly what any president would want him to do.
And we're incapable also of knowing really who's better than the other because it's only the people in the room that know. I mean, how much access, was Jay Carney good at getting one-on-ones for these reporters with the president, with the first lady, with the vice president? Who knows? I mean, that stuff is stuff we can't even speak to, but he did his job. If the president's happy with him, it means that the reporters aren't.
Mike, would you say Jay Carney, did he get himself in any, would you say, indecorous moments?
No, I mean, off the top of my head, no. I think just that it has not been an administration filled with controversy either. I mean, you think about Mike McCurry having to answer for Monica Lewinsky. You think about, people like Marlon Fitzwater during the Gulf War. I mean, you think of these people, but you don't think of Jay Carney as ever being sort of in the middle of a real controversy. So I think a lot of it was logistical. And that's why I say we don't even know because we're not there. And the people that are there are able to say who's better at
I
managing the
think
room.
you can judge, I think it's a way to gauge a good presidential press secretary by how much news he doesn't make. Right. So if he says something and it makes news, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's a
probably-
little bit
yeah.
of a screw up.
So
right?
in this case, the guy was pretty damn good,
Yes.
even though
he
it's
didn't make
bad
news
for the
too
country.
often. Right.
But it
he was
also
good at
means
his
the
job.
president is, I mean, if this were a ballsier president who was making more news the way that a lot of people wanted him to make news, then Carney's job would have been tougher. But it's a hard job he has.
Right.
because
Yeah. I end up liking.
He's got to please people who are just doing battle, with each other.
I end up liking, no matter who the press secretary is, no matter what the administration is, I always feel sorry for them. I understand their job.
He's making a lot more money than us.
The
He's
only
making a lot
guy-
more money than us
Except
to
for
lie.
Ari Fleischer.
To lie.
Ari
Except
Fleischer
for
and
Scott
Tony
McClellan.
Snow.
Yeah.
I like Scott
And Tony
McClellan.
Snow.
Tony Snow and Ari Fleischer are the only two, but I did like Scott McClellan. Even
I
Dana
didn't like
Perino I
Scott
felt
McClellan.
sorry for.
No,
I did.
But what is it? You feel sorry because you know they have to lie?
I know they
But
have
it's-
to lie, their
what's-
job.
I mean, so they're sellouts.
And whenever their boss put them in a tough spot, now they got to come out there and answer for it. And it's not their business. It's not their behavior they have to explain. It's somebody else's behavior. That's right. But it seemed like the guys who relished it, I hated. And
Yeah.
Ari Fleischer seemed like
Yeah.
one of those guys, and so did Tony Snow.
But
He
not
would like
Jerry
to-
Turhorst. Do you know who Jerry
No,
Turhorst was?
I don't even know
Jerry
that one.
Turhorst was Gerald Ford's press secretary, resigned over the pardon of Richard Nixon.
No kidding.
Left the administration.
Because he
That
didn't
was
want to
it.
answer for that.
Yeah, he didn't. He said he disagreed with it.
Ah!
Read more about it. I mean, I'm making small of it,
Yes.
but it was a big story. That
I didn't know. That's pretty.
Call me crazy. I don't feel bad for guys that get paid a lot of money to knowingly lie.
Ah.
Is that nuts?
Well, I mean,
you like
lying,
transparency. You like truth. What are you telling me
But I
here?
understand that job, though. Like when the people who get me angry at that are like the news reporters who don't have to be that
But
way,
also-
who still toe the frickin' mainstream line.
But Dave,
I know it's PR. I get it.
Like he's not making things up and lying.
But
he's
he's-
not giving information. He's holding back. Which is different than the kind of lie that you're.
No, totally.
You
But
know,
it's
he's-
a lie. It's a lie by omission. What they do. I mean, because they just play
But that's
it right.
the job title. So
Yeah.
whoever has that job is going to. I mean, so
I guess I want the job to be
Jay
better
Carney's
than it
not
is.
a crazy liar, right?
Yeah.
Jay Carney is somebody who doled out information in bits and dribble and
Yes.
that was it. And that because that's his job.
Yeah, it's Jake Tapper's job to get to the truth.